Have you ever wondered if you're missing the subtle signs that a loved one may have only months left to live? These quiet warnings, often overlooked, can appear up to 6 months before the end of life. Yet many families miss them until it's too late. In this video, we unveil 7 silent indicators, backed by experts from Johns Hopkins and the Mayo Clinic, to help you recognize these critical changes early. Understanding these signs could transform how you care for your loved one, making their final days more meaningful and comfortable. Why watch until the end? First, these signs, like dramatic sleep shifts or sudden social withdrawal, are easy to dismiss as normal aging, but they signal a deeper transition. Missing them could mean lost opportunities to provide the right care or have vital conversations. Second, you'll learn practical steps, like tracking sleep or documenting weight loss, to share with doctors for better care planning. Third, the 7th sign is so commonly overlooked that even seasoned nurses often miss it, yet it's a powerful predictor of end-of-life progression. Finally, this knowledge empowers you to focus on connection, dignity, and peace, creating memories that last a lifetime. Whether you're caring for an aging parent or grandparent, this video equips you with insights to make every moment count. Don't miss these life-changing revelations. Watch now to ensure you're prepared for life's final chapter. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0. to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Sign 1. Dramatic changes in sleep patterns. One of the most heart-wrenching and profound signs that an elderly loved one may be nearing the end of their journey is a sudden, dramatic change in their sleep patterns. It's deeply unsettling to witness someone you care about begin to sleep for 15 hours or more each day, or conversely, become completely restless and unable to find peace during the night. This is not just ordinary tiredness or the expected fatigue that comes with growing older. No, it is something far more significant. A fundamental shift in how their body is managing its precious energy and consciousness as it prepares for the inevitable final transition. What makes this change even more challenging is how gradually it often unfolds. Over weeks, sometimes even months, these alterations creep in slowly, disguised as just feeling more tired or needing extra rest. For families, it's easy to dismiss or misunderstand these signs, chalking them up to aging or boredom. But underneath lies a silent, powerful biological process that tells us the body is shifting priorities, conserving every ounce of energy for essential functions while the mind and body begin their slow, natural descent. Research from Harvard Medical School's Geriatric Division sheds important light on this mysterious phenomenon. According to experts like Dr. Susan Mitchell, these sleep pattern changes are not random. They reflect the brain's circadian rhythm being disrupted as multiple body systems start to shut down. The body instinctively increases daytime sleep to preserve energy, yet at night, restlessness and wakefulness take over, creating a distressing cycle for both the elderly individual and those who love and care for them. It's a biological signal that something profound is happening. I think about Henry, a gentle soul from Tennessee, who was 82 when his family first noticed he was drifting off during his favorite afternoon TV shows, something he used to relish with such joy. It seemed harmless at first, but within weeks, Henry was sleeping upwards of 18 hours a day and awake most of the nights, struggling with exhaustion and confusion. His daughter initially believed it was boredom or depression, hoping a change of activity would help. But after a careful medical evaluation, it became clear Henry's body was entering its final stages, preparing itself quietly for the inevitable. This kind of change is incredibly difficult for families to face. The disrupted sleep schedules not only exhaust the elderly person but also place a heavy emotional and physical toll on caregivers. There is often confusion, frustration, and a profound sense of helplessness. But knowing what this pattern means can be a beacon of hope, not hope for stopping what's coming, but hope for preparing with compassion and dignity. Recognizing these signs early opens the door to adjusting care routines thoughtfully, providing comfort, and finding peace amid the uncertainty. If you notice such shifts in your loved one's sleep, please don't wait or dismiss them. Start by carefully monitoring and documenting their sleep patterns. A simple notebook or phone app works wonders. Track how many hours they sleep during the day and night, and take note of any changes from their usual rhythm. Share this information with their doctor as soon as you see the pattern lasting more than a week. This small act can make a profound difference in how well your family navigates this tender time. Time feels fragile and fleeting in moments like these, and the awareness of these sleep changes is a crucial step toward offering your loved one the comfort, respect, and support they deserve. Don't delay. Start observing and caring today, because every minute matters. Sign 2. Loss of interest in food and significant weight loss. Have you noticed your beloved family member no longer savoring the meals they once loved? Maybe they've lost 10 or more pounds without even trying, and it feels like something more than just the usual changes that come with getting older. This is not merely a fading appetite. It's a profound, unsettling shift in how their body is handling nutrition and energy, a quiet sign that something deeper is unfolding. The journey often begins slowly. Favorite dishes that used to bring comfort and joy suddenly lose their appeal. What once was a moment of warmth and connection around the dinner table becomes a struggle, progressing to a complete withdrawal from eating altogether. According to the specialists at the Mayo Clinic who work with end-of-life care, this loss of appetite happens because the body's digestive system starts to slow down as part of the natural process of dying. Dr. Jennifer Rodriguez explains this gently but clearly. As the body's metabolic needs drop sharply during the final stages of life, even the most beloved foods can seem unappealing, or worse, outright unpleasant. This change isn't a sign of depression or stubbornness. It's the body's remarkable, though heartbreaking, way of preparing for its last transition, reallocating precious energy away from digestion toward other vital functions. Let me share a story that touched me deeply. Edith, a warm-hearted woman from Michigan who had spent 60 years cherishing her Sunday family dinners and her signature homemade apple pie, began pushing her plate away after only a few bites. She stopped asking about dessert, something her family had long looked forward to sharing with her. The shift was subtle at first, but devastating. Within just 2 months, Edith lost 15 pounds. Her family, clinging to hope, tried everything to encourage her to eat, but the medical evaluation was clear. Edith was in her final months. Watching someone you love slowly lose their appetite is a painful experience, full of confusion and fear. It's so easy to get caught up in the worry about calories and nutrition, trying to fight what feels like a losing battle. But medical professionals emphasize that ignoring this change or trying to force feeding can delay crucial decisions about care and take away precious time that could be spent focusing on comfort, love, and dignity. Recognizing that appetite loss is a natural part of the end-of-life process can be the hardest truth to face, but it allows families to shift from frustration to compassion, from struggle to peace. If you're caring for someone going through this, offer small portions of their favorite foods without pressure or expectations. Keep a simple food diary to track daily intake, not as a measure of success or failure, but as a gentle way to observe and understand. The goal is not to force nutrition, but to provide comfort, warm, familiar tastes that soothe the soul even if the body no longer demands nourishment. Talk openly with healthcare providers about what's realistic and appropriate during this stage. Weigh your loved one weekly and share this information to help guide care decisions that honor their needs. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Please don't dismiss a loss of appetite as just normal aging. This sign is a critical, sensitive signal that calls for awareness, understanding, and above all, empathy. Act now, not to change the course, but to support your loved one with kindness and grace during this most fragile time. Sign 3. Increasing social withdrawal and disengagement. When someone who was once the life of the party, the heart of every family gathering, suddenly stops reaching out, ceases calling old friends, or no longer shows up at cherished events, it's heartbreaking. At first glance, many might think it's just a bout of sadness, a rough patch, or perhaps depression. But often, this withdrawal runs far deeper. It's a profound, natural part of the human spirit beginning to prepare for the final journey. It's as if their soul starts turning inward, gently loosening its ties to the world outside, seeking peace away from the noise and busyness of life. This shift can shock families because it feels so out of place. How could the person who once was so vibrant and connected suddenly pull away as if from a different world? It almost seems like a betrayal, a closing of the door. Yet, research from Johns Hopkins Palliative Care sheds light on this mysterious process. Dr. Michael Chen explains that this social disengagement is not a rejection but a deeply important psychological function. It allows people to conserve their energy for inner reflection, to prepare spiritually and emotionally for what lies ahead, and to release the hold of earthly attachments little by little. This is not a refusal of love but a tender, protective mechanism, a way to face the unknown with as little emotional chaos as possible. Understanding this can soften the heartache and replace confusion with compassion. Take Fred, for example, an 80-year-old man from Ohio. For 25 years, he was a fixture at his weekly poker games and never missed his grandson's baseball matches. His laughter echoed through the room, and his presence was a constant comfort. Then one day, without warning, he stopped answering phone calls and declined every invitation. Family members whispered about a rough month, hoping it was temporary. But 6 months later, doctors revealed the truth. Fred's body was quietly preparing for the end, and his withdrawal was an early, gentle sign of this profound transition. Those missed calls and silences were not distance or disinterest. They were part of a natural farewell. When families miss these subtle signals, it creates a painful gap in understanding. They may feel hurt, confused, or even rejected, unaware that their loved one's silence is not personal but part of a delicate process. This lack of awareness can delay those vital conversations about wishes, fears, and hopes, the conversations that bring peace and clarity. Healthcare professionals urge families to recognize these patterns, to respond not with pressure but with gentle presence and respect for the person's needs. The best approach is a careful balance, softly encouraging connection while honoring their desire for solitude. Instead of insisting on big family gatherings, offer simple moments, a brief visit, a quiet phone call, that allow your loved one to engage without feeling overwhelmed. Quality over quantity matters deeply here. Let your loved one set the pace, and be there emotionally, even if physically distant. These moments, small as they seem, are precious threads weaving comfort and closeness. So reach out with patience, empathy, and an open heart. Understand that in the silence and withdrawal, your loved one is quietly preparing for their final journey. Your presence, even in gentle stillness, can be a beacon of love and peace during this tender time. These moments matter more than words can say. Sign 4. Unusual confusion or mental changes. One of the most profound and often misunderstood signs as a loved one nears the end of life is the appearance of unusual confusion or sudden mental changes. This can manifest as new episodes of disorientation, vivid conversations with relatives who have long since passed away, or dramatic shifts in personality. Changes that may feel startling or even frightening to those watching. But these mental shifts are not just random symptoms or signs of worsening dementia. Rather, they often reveal that the brain and spirit are gently preparing for a profound transition. Imagine the deep comfort a dying person might find in talking to a beloved family member who has gone before them, a presence they feel vividly, as real as if sitting beside them. These moments, though mysterious, carry an undeniable tenderness. The person may lose track of time or place, or suddenly behave in ways that seem completely unlike the person you've known for decades. Sometimes these changes ebb and flow. One moment they are fully present and coherent, the next they slip into a fog of confusion or engage in what may seem like hallucinations. Scientific studies from the Cleveland Clinic shed light on why this happens. As oxygen flow to the brain decreases and metabolic processes change near life's end, cognitive functions shift. Dr. Patricia Williams explains that these neurological changes can open a window to deeply meaningful experiences for the person who is dying. moments where visits from deceased loved ones bring comfort and peace. Far from being just hallucinations, these experiences serve vital psychological and spiritual roles, easing the transition in ways that medicine is only beginning to understand. I remember reading about Victor, a 79-year-old man from Florida, whose story touched me deeply. Victor began having detailed conversations with his late wife, Mary, describing her presence and the messages she wanted to pass on to their family. At first, his children were alarmed, fearing dementia was taking over. Yet, between these episodes, Victor was remarkably clear and connected, aware of current events, and engaged with his loved ones. Medical experts later reassured the family that Victor's experiences were a natural part of his body and mind preparing to say goodbye, not a sign of decline. Knowing this must have been a huge relief, turning confusion into understanding, fear into compassion. For families, witnessing such changes can be heart-wrenching. The fear of losing a loved one, combined with the shock of seeing them act different, can trigger panic and lead to rushed decisions for aggressive medical interventions, treatments that may not ease suffering or even align with the person's true needs. I deeply believe that embracing these mental changes as a normal part of the final journey allows families to respond with love, patience, and gentle support rather than fear and frustration. If you find yourself facing these moments, try to remain calm. Instead of arguing or correcting, simply offer presence and reassurance. Seek medical advice to help differentiate between natural end-of-life mental shifts and conditions that might be treatable. Keeping a careful record, notes of when these episodes happen and what they look like, can be invaluable for doctors to provide the right guidance. Most importantly, create a peaceful, safe environment where your loved one feels supported in whatever they are experiencing. These moments, though sometimes difficult to understand, are part of a profound human passage. By recognizing their significance and responding with compassion, you honor not only the mind but also the heart and spirit of the person you cherish. Remember, proper understanding is the key to better care and more meaningful connections in life's final chapter. Sign 5. Decreased mobility and increased weakness. When someone you love begins to find even the simplest act of walking across the room exhausting, or struggles with basic tasks they managed just the day before, it's a profound and often painful sign that demands your full attention. This isn't the usual, slow, and expected decline we associate with aging. It's something far more urgent and unsettling. It signals a fundamental decrease in their energy and strength that directly impacts their ability to perform everyday activities and live independently. The rapid progression of this weakness, unfolding over weeks or months, can feel like watching a vibrant person slowly lose pieces of themselves, creating a heartbreaking shift in their physical function and autonomy. The American Geriatric Society's research sheds light on why this happens. As the body approaches its final months, it makes a difficult but natural choice. It diverts precious energy away from maintaining muscle function and instead prioritizes keeping vital organs working. Dr. Robert Thompson, a respected voice in geriatric medicine, explains that muscles begin breaking down their protein reserves to support these critical functions. This biological survival strategy, while essential, leads to a swift and dramatic loss of strength, far beyond the gradual weakness we associate with normal aging. Understanding this helps us grasp the deep physical and emotional challenges our loved ones face during this stage. I think of Clara, a spirited 77-year-old from Texas. Until last spring, she could walk to her mailbox and lovingly tend her garden. Simple pleasures that gave her joy and a sense of purpose. Then, seemingly overnight, Clara struggled to rise from her favorite chair, and her hands trembled so much she couldn't even lift her morning coffee without help. Her family, filled with hope, first assumed she needed better nutrition or more rest. But medical evaluations revealed a harsher truth. Her body was quietly entering an end-stage process that was draining her muscles and energy with alarming speed. For Clara's family, this was a moment of deep sorrow and adjustment, grappling with the reality that their strong, independent mother was now fragile and vulnerable in ways they had never anticipated. One of the most devastating consequences of not recognizing this severe weakness as a signal of life's final phase is the dramatic increase in safety risks. Falls, which might have seemed like minor accidents before, now carry a grave threat, leading to injuries that could irreversibly change the course of their remaining time. I've seen families struggle with this denial, holding on to expectations of normal activity, which only leads to frustration, fear, and sometimes heartbreaking accidents that might have been prevented. Healthcare professionals stress how vital it is to accept and acknowledge these changes, not as giving up, but as an act of love that allows us to protect our loved ones and honor their dignity. Practical steps matter now more than ever. Removing tripping hazards from the home, installing grab bars, providing shower chairs, and ensuring mobility aids are readily accessible can make a life-changing difference. It's hard to accept needing help with daily tasks, especially for those who have prided themselves on their independence. But pushing too hard for past levels of activity can be dangerous and unrealistic. Instead, the focus must shift gently toward comfort, safety, and preserving quality of life. Making these changes today isn't just about preventing falls. It's about slowing the cascade of decline that an injury can trigger and preserving precious time together. This stage is incredibly challenging, filled with emotions ranging from sorrow to hope, but embracing the reality of decreased mobility can empower families to create a safer, more compassionate environment. It's an invitation to walk alongside your loved one with patience and care, honoring their journey while protecting their well-being. Sign 6. Changes in breathing patterns. One of the most profound and often overlooked signs that someone may be nearing the end of their life is a change in their breathing patterns. These shifts are not just random or easily dismissed as just getting older. Instead, irregular breathing, periods where breaths come in rapid succession only to slow down again, or moments of unusual breathlessness while at rest, carry deep meaning and deserve our full attention and compassion. At first, these changes might seem subtle. Longer pauses between breaths, shallower or more labored breathing during everyday activities that once felt effortless, or new breathing sounds that are unfamiliar and unsettling. But as time goes on, these signs become clearer, painting a poignant picture of the body's natural transition. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. According to the National Hospice Foundation, changes in breathing patterns are among the most reliable indicators of the final stages of life. This is because our respiratory system reflects how the entire body is functioning. When the lungs and heart slow down, it signals that the body is conserving energy for the journey ahead. Dr. Linda Garcia, a trusted voice from the foundation, explains that these breathing irregularities happen as the heart and lungs gradually lose efficiency. It's not a crisis to be feared, but rather the body gently adapting to its changing needs. Understanding this can bring a sense of peace to families who might otherwise be gripped by fear or confusion. I think about Ray, an 81-year-old gentleman from Georgia, whose story deeply touched me. His breathing changed noticeably. He would breathe rapidly for a few minutes, then slow down dramatically, with long, almost silent pauses between each breath. His wife, watching him during his quiet afternoon rest, felt a mixture of worry and helplessness as she saw him struggle for air, even though he was not physically exerting himself. The doctors explained that these breathing patterns were a natural part of Ray's body entering its final phase, a sign that comfort-focused care was now the kindest, most loving path forward. It was a turning point that allowed his family to shift their energy from seeking cures to offering presence, love, and relief. What pains me most is how many families miss these subtle respiratory changes or misunderstand them, leading to unnecessary and invasive medical interventions that often do little to ease suffering. Instead of adding burdensome treatments, recognizing these signs helps families embrace comfort care, prioritizing dignity and quality of life. It's heartbreaking to see loved ones gripped by fear when breathing changes occur. Fear that can be softened by gentle education and reassurance that this is part of the body's natural course, not an emergency demanding aggressive action. If you notice these breathing changes in someone you love, please take note of every detail. The frequency, depth, and any new sounds that seem different from their usual rhythm. Let your healthcare team know right away. Positioning them comfortably to support easier breathing can make a huge difference. And don't hesitate to seek guidance from palliative care specialists. whose expertise can offer invaluable support during this delicate time. Above all, remember, your calm presence, gentle reassurance, and loving attention mean more than any medical intervention. Instead of panic, choose compassion. Monitor breathing changes carefully every day and share your observations promptly with healthcare providers. This vigilance ensures that your loved one receives the best possible comfort and care as they navigate this final stage of life. Sign 7. Desire to resolve unfinished business. There's a profound and often heart-wrenching sign that many elderly individuals show as they near the end of their journey. A powerful, almost urgent desire to resolve unfinished business. When you notice a loved one suddenly wanting to give away cherished possessions, make long overdue apologies, or initiate important conversations they have avoided for years, it's crucial to listen with an open heart and mind. These moments are far more than simple acts of estate planning or tidying up logistics. They are expressions of a deeply human need to find peace, to reconcile the past, and to leave the world with a sense of closure. This desire to settle affairs is often accompanied by a powerful psychological process, one that reflects their readiness to face the final chapter of life. It's not just about dividing belongings. It's about distributing pieces of their soul, handing down meaningful items that carry stories and memories, sometimes to very specific people who hold special places in their hearts. It's also about healing broken relationships that may have caused them pain for decades, and sharing vital truths or feelings they never found the courage to express before. These acts are silent, yet powerful gestures of love, regret, hope, and sometimes even forgiveness. Hospice care specialists across the country witness this phenomenon repeatedly. Individuals approaching the end of life feel an intense inner drive to complete emotional and practical tasks left undone. Dr. Amanda Foster, a hospice specialist with over 30 years of experience, explains that this behavior is far from a mere coincidence. It serves essential psychological functions. It allows people to mentally and emotionally prepare for death by creating a sense of peace and acceptance. Studies back this up. Those who can complete these unfinished business tasks tend to face their final weeks with less anxiety and more calm acceptance, embracing their remaining days with a quieter heart. I remember hearing the story of Larry, an 83-year-old man from Nevada. After 15 long years of silence and estrangement, he suddenly reached out to his brother, a connection he had avoided for so long. What moved him wasn't just the desire to say hello. It was the weight of unspoken apologies for a family argument that neither brother could even fully recall anymore. At the same time, Larry began carefully giving away his treasured woodworking tools, explaining to neighbors and grandchildren why each person deserved specific items. To his family, this sudden change was alarming at first, sparking fears of depression. But in truth, Larry was preparing his heart, his legacy, and his relationships for the precious final months of his life. He was choosing connection and resolution over silence and regret. When these deeply human wishes are missed or ignored, the consequences ripple far beyond the individual. Loved ones who pass without these final reconciliations often leave behind a vacuum of regret and unanswered questions for their families. It's heartbreaking to think that many dismiss these important acts as morbid or unnecessary, rather than seeing them as vital parts of a healthy psychological journey toward death. Medical professionals emphasize that embracing and supporting these efforts is not only respectful, it is profoundly healing. It brings immense comfort and peace to those preparing to say goodbye. So if you notice your loved one reaching out, whether it's to a distant family member, an old friend, or even just quietly sharing their story with you, don't turn away or judge. Instead, hold space for these precious moments. Help facilitate the conversations and connections they need, even if past hurts make it difficult. Assist gently with the practical details of distributing their possessions according to their heartfelt wishes, without questioning their timing or motivations. Most importantly, listen. Listen deeply to the stories, the memories, the lessons they want to leave behind. These conversations are not just words, they are treasured gifts, the final threads that weave a lifetime of love, forgiveness, and meaning. Honor these moments today, because tomorrow may be too late. In these final connections and heartfelt exchanges, there is a sacred grace, one that brings healing, peace, and a quiet readiness for whatever lies beyond. Thank you so much for watching and taking the time to reflect on this deeply important topic. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What is one thing you've learned from this video that touched your heart or opened your mind? How will you bring that lesson into your own life or support someone you love? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences and insights could mean the world to others. If you found this video meaningful, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Together, we can create a caring community that supports each other through life's most challenging and precious moments.